Hi guys, welcome to Space or Live Thursday Night Talks. I do apologize if you're joining us now for the slight delay in tonight's talk. As you might notice, I am in Space Store today, and we've had some technical difficulties setting up. But thank you so much for joining us. And if you're watching this at a later date, welcome to our channel. Now, Space Store has been bringing space virtually to everyone across the globe space experiences over the last few months, of course, because of the virus. And back in April, we had this incredible idea of launching Space Store Live, which is this very YouTube channel you're watching this on right now. And our team behind the scenes has been working really, really hard in allowing everyone to access space in their own way. And if you've been staying in tune to our Space Store Live channel, the way we've been doing that is through our Thursday night talks, which usually happen tonight, but tonight it's slightly different because we're just summing up our journey on Space Store Live so far and going to be talking about what is still to come. So we started off with the Thursday night talks back on the 23rd of April this year with a virtual journey to the Baikonur Cosmodrome with Remco Timmermans. And for those of you who joined us back then will remember it was an incredible way of experiencing how Yuri Gagarin actually launched he was the first man in space, how he launched from the launch site in Baikonur. So go check that out if you haven't already, as that was our first talk. And since then, we've had a variety of space experts every Thursday at 5:30 on our channel, speaking live to us about space. We've had the Interplanetary podcast, who was speaking about isolation and the trip to Mars. It was really ironic because it was at a time of nationwide and worldwide lockdown, and we were speaking about isolation and how that would impact the human condition if we were to travel to Mars. Hopefully, we will do sometime in the near future. We've also had Dr. Chris Pearson in, who was speaking about alien worlds and the vast amount of exoplanets that are outside our solar system, and the possibility of life outside our solar system and across our universe. And we've also had Libby Jackson in twice, actually. We had her in a couple of weeks ago speaking about her latest book, Space Explorers, and her first talk was actually on her first book, which was A Galaxy of Her Own, which talks about amazing stories of women in space. So go check that out now, because that is a really interesting one as well. We've had the technical side of space experts in as well, with Mike Curtis-Rouse, who was speaking about building better rockets. So if that's something you are interested in, you can find it on our YouTube playlist too. We've had space application engineers, such as Anna Raposo, talking about how space impacts our lives, and you'd be surprised as there are countless ways in how space impacts our lives day to day, which we might not even realize. And recently, we also had some designers in on how they were talking about how their roles as designers has affected their journey in the space industry and what they've learned from it and what the space industry has learned from it. So go check that out on the talks playlist on our channel if you haven't already. Now, moving on to Kids AM. We realized kids absolutely love space. And with Leah, our Space Store Kids AM presenter, we've been doing some amazing stuff on Kids AM. We've been doing some drawing, we've been drawing astronauts and satellites and all sorts of cool stuff. And there's also been something which I personally have really enjoyed, is story time, where we've had world-renowned authors such as Sue Palmer and Libby Jackson in actually reading, which I spoke to a lot of parents back in when we had the lockdown, and how useful they found it, how engaging they found it for their children. So a shout out to Sue Palmer and Libby Jackson for helping us out with the story time. If you're an arts and crafts person, and if your kids are, then you'll also have noticed we have some crafts videos up on the channel where we built Mars rovers and a solar oven to actually make your cookies at home. And to wrap it all up, we've been learning about space as well, because we feel that it's important to inform young minds at that age about what space is really about, and we've learned about phases of the moon, life as an astronaut on the ISS, and lots more. So go check those out as well if you have kids between the ages of 4 and 10. I'm sure they'll be interested in that. Now, moving on to the roundup. Every other Tuesday, we have been bringing you the roundup. The Space Still Alive roundup is all about bringing you the latest and greatest of space news, packed in a 30-minute session with Nick Howes and Terry Mosley. So you don't have to do anything in terms of, I'm just spinning on my chair. You don't have to do anything. Just tune in every other Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. with Nick Howes and Terry Mosley. Now, Nick is actually, both of them are actually astronomers and extremely experienced space experts. Nick has actually worked on the SKA telescope project, which is the Square Kilometer Array telescope, which is going to be the largest radio telescope in the world. He is currently working as a test analyst in the defense sector, and he actually has his own radio and optical telescope in his own personal observatory in Wiltshire. He's delivered over 400 talks across 3 continents over the last 12 years on the topics of space systems, astronomy, and space history. And he is also, to top it off, the European director of the world's largest meteorite company. And Terry, well, he is also extremely experienced too. He's been around since the launch of Sputnik 1, so at the dawn of the space age. And back in the 60s, he actually built his own homemade telescope because he was so passionate about space and astronomy. He actually built it by himself at home, and he made different versions of it, made it bigger and better. And he's actually received the Queen's British Empire Medal for his outreach in the astronomy field. So hats off to him for that. And to top it all off for Terry, he actually has an asteroid named after him by the IAU, which is the International Astronomical Union. And it's called 16693 Mosley. So a big shout out to Nick Howes and Terry Mosley for hosting the roundup every other Tuesday at 7:30. Remember, if you've missed any of those, you can catch up on our channel. We've created a special playlist called The Roundup with Nick Howes and Terry Mosley. So go check those out if you've missed them. And if you caught up, then make sure you tune in next Tuesday for the next roundup. Now, moving on to some exciting stuff. That's not it. We've got the talk, we've got Kids AM, we've got the roundup. Now, I can't say much about this new up-and-coming project we are working on, but we are aiming to deliver shorter, information-packed videos about space to you guys very, very shortly. So stay tuned for some new exciting content, which we're going to be launching alongside our weekly Thursday talks and the Tuesday roundup and Kids AM. So lots and lots of space content coming your way. Please make sure you guys give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed what we have done so far. If you have any feedback for us, we are actually doing a survey right now, which we will leave in the description below. So please spend 2 minutes of your time after watching this video, just heading over there and giving us some views and answering a few questions about what Space Still Alive has done over the past few months. And that will really, really help us improve our service going forward. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Please do share this video and Space Still Alive in general with anyone who you know who is interested in space, even a tiny bit, and hopefully we can inspire them to be even more interested in space. Well, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you guys know what Space Still Alive is about now. And I'm really excited with all this new content coming up. So stay tuned. Take care, and we'll see you guys in our next video.